Welcome to Redditenderbender. We give Reddit stories their deserving endings because we hate being left hanging. Story 1. My wife and I have been married for 8 years. We dated for a few years before getting married. We were in school for the first few years of our marriage. After finishing school, we tried to have kids, but it didn't work. My sperm was tested and my motility and morphology were on the low end. We tried IUI 3 times, and then we tried a round of IVF, which didn't work. She was upset and worried about running out of time to have a child. My wife told me she wanted to use a donor. I said I was opposed to it. She went ahead with it anyway, and on the second try it worked. Now I feel conflicted. I don't want to raise a kid that isn't mine. I wanted to keep trying to have a kid together. Should I stay with her and raise the child? Is it fair for me to ask her to get an abortion and continue to try to have kids with me? Let's find out what happens in a happy ending. With bated breath, I stood at the threshold of a new chapter in our lives. The air was thick with anticipation and uncertainty, but I made a conscious decision to embrace it all. And when the moment finally arrived, and my wife's beaming face met mine, tears welled up in my eyes. In that instant, it became clear that love knows no biological boundaries. Though our child may not share my genes, their arrival had only strengthened the bond between us. Together, we navigated the steep learning curve of parenthood, overcoming obstacles and celebrating milestones. Through it all, our connection grew stronger and more resilient. Looking back now, I wouldn't trade our unique family for anything in the world, because what we have is bound by something far greater than blood: unconditional love. Let's find out what happens in a sad ending. Despite attempts to put my initial reservations aside, I couldn't bring myself to fully accept the situation. The rift between us widened like a deep canyon, leaving us stranded on opposite sides. My mind and heart were consumed with feelings of resentment and inadequacy, like a dark storm cloud casting shadows over our relationship. Despite attempts at counseling, the emotional scars were too deep to heal. In the end, we made the excruciating decision to part ways, each of us seeking a different path in the pursuit of happiness. It was a painful decision, one that left us both raw and vulnerable like open wounds. But life is unpredictable, and not every story has a fairy tale ending. Sometimes love simply isn't enough. Let's find out what happens if we give the ending a twist, because we can. In the eerie shadows of uncertainty, I grappled with the surreal twist fate had thrown upon our lives. The child, a product of shared dreams and a stranger's genetic code, became a living enigma within our home. As days passed, an unsettling air of ambiguity clung to our family, creating a delicate balance between the illusion of normalcy and the haunting truth that lingered in the background. In time, a chilling revelation emerged, casting an otherworldly pallor over the once familiar landscape of our marriage. A clandestine government experiment gone awry, a mix-up in the lab. Whatever the cause, it turned out my wife had inadvertently been impregnated with extraterrestrial DNA. The child she bore wasn't a product of our earthly struggles, but a cosmic anomaly. The revelation struck like a bolt of lightning, leaving us stranded in a realm where the mundane collided with the unfathomable. As our child grew, strange occurrences began to unfold. Unearthly glows illuminated the nursery at night, and the child exhibited peculiar abilities that defied all reason. It became evident that we were raising something beyond our comprehension, a hybrid of human and something not of this world. Haunted by the unknown and shunned by a society unable to fathom the truth, our family became a clandestine experiment. The child, a vessel of cosmic secrets, held the key to a reality that eluded our grasp. In the shadowy corners of our existence, whispers of government agents and extraterrestrial agendas lingered, adding a layer of paranoia to our already tumultuous lives. The line between the familiar and the cosmic blurred, and our family became a pawn in a game played by forces beyond our understanding. As we navigated this nightmarish revelation, the question of our child's true nature loomed like a spectral presence. The future, a dark abyss of uncertainty, stretched before us. In the twisted universe where nightmares come to life, our family was forever bound to a cosmic destiny that defied explanation, and the horrors that awaited us in the unknown became our chilling reality. Which ending was the best? Please tell me in the comments below. Story 2. I work a very demanding job. There are very few, if any, times during the year when I have the luxury to take a few days off to myself. When I get home from work between cooking dinner, doing dishes, and taking care of chores around the house, I get maybe 2 hours a day to relax. My wife gets upset if I don't spend all of that time with her, so I don't get to watch my shows, play my video games, or read my books. I've told her many times that I need time to relax and do the things I enjoy, and she'll agree with me, but then start giving me things to do or try to get me to do something else with her within 30 seconds of me starting. So 2 months ago, I asked my boss if I could use a week of vacation between Christmas and New Year's. It's a slow week, and we made arrangements to ensure that I am covered during those days for emergencies. I told my wife that this will be my me time to do all of the things that I want, to de-stress from life and to catch up on the things that I really enjoy. I also plan to clean up my office and organize my files, which is something that has stressed me out for a while. My wife agreed and told me that she was very happy I'm going to be able to do some self-care. This weekend, she informed me that she had scheduled the chimney cleaners for Wednesday because I'd be home. She wrote down a list of things for me to do. Go to Home Depot, clean up the yard debris, pick up groceries for the week, go through boxes in the basement, and organize everything. I politely informed her that I would not be doing any of those things, that this week was about self-care and addressing my needs, and with only 4 real days, minus Christmas, I was not going to add additional tasks. She told me to just get to what I had time for. On Tuesday, my wife decided to work from home. This prevented me from organizing my office since we share an office. I put on one of my video games and started to play. 10 seconds later, my wife came flying in and told me to turn it off because it was too loud, while she was trying to make phone calls. I told her to shut the office door, but she told me it was entirely too loud and sounded unprofessional in the background. So I pulled out a book and started reading on the couch. I did that for about an hour when my wife decided to come out into the living room and work on her laptop. She turned on the Kardashians. I sarcastically asked if that wouldn't make her sound unprofessional in the background. She replied, "I'll just mute it if a call comes in," which is exactly what she did. So after 15 minutes of trash TV and loud business phone calls, I went into our bedroom to read my book. At this point, my wife kept interrupting me every few minutes. "How's the book? How much more do you have to go? What's it about? Do you want lunch? What do you want for dinner? Are you still on the same book? Do you want to watch something on TV? Am I ruining your day? Do you not want to spend time with me? Do you know where the black water bottle went?" Eventually, it was time for dinner, so I just gave up and put my book down. Today, she decided to work from home again. I told her it wasn't necessary. She told me that she wanted to work from home. I replied, "Yes, but no offense, I do not want you here." She laughed and said, "I know it's your self-care week, but I don't feel like going in. We can both be here." So I could not be in the office. I had to be up early for the chimney cleaners and could not be in the living room because they were working in there. I went into our bedroom and started reading my book. She came in and informed me that I needed to stay with the chimney sweepers in case they had questions because she had work calls that she had to take. I was unable to concentrate with them working, so I just sat there. When they finally finished, I took my book out and started reading. That's when my wife decided to come out into the living room and turn on the Kardashians again. I migrated into the bedroom, laid down on the bed, and continued reading my book. 10 minutes later, she came in with her laptop and laid down on the bed next to me. I did my best to ignore the typing and phone calls and just concentrate on my book. Then, she started snoring. Not heavy breathing, but literal congested wheezing, choking, snoring. I sighed, got up, headed into the living room, laid down on the couch, and put one of my shows on. That lasted 15 minutes before my wife came in and started talking through it. She kept asking questions about it, criticizing it, talking about how it's clear why she wouldn't watch it, asking how many episodes there are, how long each episode is, and so on. Finally, after needing to rewind the same part 8 times, I accepted defeat and turned it off. My wife informed me that she thinks she's going to work from home the rest of the week. She saw the look on my face, smiled, and said, "I know I'm cramping your style and ruining your week off, but it's a quiet week and it works for me to be home." I told her, "I love spending time with you, but I need my alone time. I haven't been able to do anything for me, and it is damaging to my mental health." She insists that she understands and she wants me to have time to myself, but it seems to be in theory only, not in practice. I have found myself snapping at her and being terse with her, and I do not want that. I am afraid that I'm going to explode on her. I don't know how to make myself any clearer, but she doesn't seem to be taking me seriously. Let's find out what happened in a happy ending. So, fast forward a couple of days, and it's like a switch flipped in the universe. The chaos that once ruled my staycation has transformed into a haven of tranquility and understanding. I wake up on the final day of my time off to the smell of fresh coffee wafting through the air. As I wander into the kitchen, there's my wife, brewing my favorite blend, wearing a mischievous smile. "Good morning, love," she greets me. "I thought I'd let you sleep in a bit and then surprise you with breakfast." Perplexed, but pleasantly surprised, I sit down to a delicious spread of my favorite morning treats. My wife, apparently a transformed being, joins me with a heartfelt apology. "I've been doing some thinking," she confesses. "I realized I didn't respect your need for alone time, and I'm truly sorry for that. I've been trying to make up for it in the best way I can." I can't help but smile as I savor the tasty breakfast, feeling a weight lifted off my shoulders. The day unfolds with the promise of uninterrupted self-care. My wife, understanding the importance of my sanctuary, decides to spend the day catching up on her own hobbies in a different room. I spend the day diving into my favorite video games, savoring chapters of my unread books, and reveling in the solitude I craved. The chimneys are clean, the house is in order, and there's a sense of peace that permeates the air. In the evening, my wife and I come together for a cozy dinner. She surprises me with takeout from my favorite restaurant, acknowledging that today is all about me. We share genuine laughter and conversation without any interruptions. As the night winds down, my wife suggests watching a movie together, but this time, she lets me pick the film, and she refrains from commentary. We snuggle up on the couch, the day's tensions replaced by a shared sense of understanding. In the quiet moments before sleep, my wife turns to me with gratitude in her eyes. "I've learned how important your me time is, and I promise to respect it more in the future," she says. And with that, I drift into a peaceful sleep, knowing that my staycation has finally become the rejuvenating break I initially envisioned. The two of us have found a new balance, and the future looks bright with the promise of more mindful moments together. Let's find out what happens in a sad ending. So, fast forward a couple of days, and it's like the universe decided to play a cruel joke on my staycation. The chaos that once tormented me only intensified, and my hope for a rejuvenating break shattered like fragile glass. I wake up on the final day of my time off to the sound of arguing from the kitchen. My wife is there, but there's no smile, no breakfast surprise, just tension in the air. "Look, I thought you wanted some time for yourself," she snaps, her frustration palpable. "Now you're complaining that I ruined your week. I can't win, can I?" Perplexed and disheartened, I sit down to a silent breakfast. The heartfelt apology and understanding that I yearn for are replaced with resentment and hurtful words. It's as if the universe decided to press the rewind button on the progress we made. The day unfolds with a bitter taste of disappointment. My wife, seemingly more resentful than before, spends the day working from home, invading every corner of our shared space. My attempts at finding solace in my favorite activities are constantly interrupted, and the promised self-care is nothing but a distant dream. In the evening, dinner is a tense affair. We exchange forced pleasantries and awkward silence. The movie we attempt to watch together only serves as a backdrop for the growing rift between us. As the night winds down, my wife turns to me with a sigh. "I don't get why you needed this alone time so badly. I thought we were supposed to enjoy each other's company." The air hangs heavy with unspoken disappointment, and the promise of future understanding seems like a distant mirage. I drift into sleep, not with a sense of peace, but with the weight of unresolved tension, knowing that the staycation I had hoped would mend our connection only left us more distant than ever. The next morning arrives, and the atmosphere in our home is thick with unspoken tension. I wake up, weary from a restless night, realizing that the rift between us has grown wider. As I shuffle into the kitchen, I'm met with a forced smile from my wife, but it doesn't reach her eyes. "I'm heading out early for work today," she announces, avoiding eye contact. "I've got a lot on my plate, and you seem to want your space." Her words hang in the air, a stark reminder of the chasm that has formed between us. It's clear now. She's doing this on purpose. My request for some alone time has become a weapon in our silent battle, a tool for her resentment. As she leaves, I'm left standing in the echoing silence of our once shared sanctuary. The weight of the realization settles on my shoulders, and I find myself questioning the foundation of our relationship. Throughout the day, I try to focus on work, but my mind keeps drifting back to the fractures in our connection. It becomes painfully clear that this staycation has become a turning point, revealing deeper issues that neither of us had been willing to address. When evening arrives, my wife returns, and the air is thick with an unspoken acknowledgement of the growing distance. We move through the motions of a routine dinner, but the genuine connection we once shared seems like a distant memory. Unable to bear the weight of the silent war any longer, I gather my thoughts and sit down with her. The words spill out, a mix of frustration, hurt, and a realization that our relationship cannot survive this deliberate disconnect. "I don't understand why you're doing this," I say, my voice tinged with sadness. "I asked for some time to recharge, not for our relationship to become a battleground. If we can't find a way to communicate and respect each other's needs, I'm not sure how we can continue like this." Her response is a cold stare, a defensive wall that has been built over the past few days. It becomes painfully clear that the damage done during this staycation might be irreparable. As the night unfolds, I find myself questioning the future of a relationship that has been strained to its breaking point. The realization settles in that, sometimes despite love and history, a path of mutual understanding can lead to an unexpected crossroads where the only choice is to part ways. The echoes of a once hopeful staycation now serve as a bitter reminder of what was lost in the pursuit of misunderstood solitude. Let's find out what happens in an ending with a twist. Late into the night, I was jolted awake by a strange sound emanating from the living room. Intrigued and cautious, I ventured forth to find my wife standing in an otherworldly glow, as if caught in a surreal dreamscape. Before us materialized a spectral figure, a cosmic arbiter of consequence. Its voice echoed like distant whispers from the abyss as it addressed my wife. "You've trifled with the threads of connection, and now the universe seeks its due." Without warning, the room was plunged into an abyss of darkness, a suffocating blackness that seemed to consume all light and hope. The air grew heavy with a tangible sense of regret, as if the weight of past mistakes was pressing down upon us. I watched in horror as the consequences of her actions unfurled before her, trapping her in a never-ending cycle of time, forever haunted by her choices. It was like witnessing a tragic play unfold in real life, each scene more devastating and heartbreaking than the last. Each interruption, every disturbance she'd caused, amplified in intensity. The TV blared louder, the questions multiplied, and the once annoying snoring transformed into a dissonant symphony. It was a bizarre and haunting spectacle, a karmic retribution playing out in the intimate confines of our home. As the night unfolded, my wife found herself ensnared in the disquiet she had sown. No escape, no respite, just the echoes of her own deeds reverberating through the cosmic tapestry. The lessons of the Twilight Zone were etched in the shadows, and I stood there witnessing the strange justice that unfolded. With the first light of dawn, the spectral figure faded away, leaving us in the hushed aftermath. The air, once tense, now carried a peculiar serenity. The universe, having spoken its cryptic justice, seemed to offer a chance for renewal. The gentle light of dawn enveloped my wife and I as we stood facing each other. The lingering traces of the supernatural encounter floated around us, a reminder of the otherworldly events that had transpired in the night. Our eyes met, filled with unspoken questions and a shared understanding of the profound lessons we had learned. The echoes of discord from the previous evening faded into the background, replaced by a hesitant sense of hope that maybe, just maybe, we could mend the fractured bonds between us. The air was thick with emotions and uncertainty, but it felt like a new beginning, a chance to start over and rebuild what had been broken. Thanks for tuning in. Which endings did you prefer? Please let me know, and don't forget to come back for more Reddit story Enderbenders. See you soon.